In my previous video about the unique challenges faced by Black leaders and professionals, I got one thing wrong. I mistakenly said that only 10% of Fortune 500 CEOs are Black. Turns out I misread my script. The actual numbers? Less than 1%. According to a 2019 study by Quoquel, formerly the Center for Talent Innovation, Black individuals make up 13% of the United States population, but only account for only 8% of employees in professional roles. Black professionals hold only 3.2% of all executive or senior leadership roles and less than 1% of all Fortune 500 CEO positions. According to the Brookings Institution, no metro area in the U.S. has a share of Black-owned employer firms that matches or exceeds the Black population in the area. According to Brookings, among 69 metro areas, the highest population of Black-owned firms and employee businesses is in Fayetteville, North Carolina at 11.2%, or 520 out of 5,210 firms. Additionally, when we look to such staple economic indicators such as home ownership, Black families not only are less likely to own a home, but according to Brookings Hamilton Project, their home ownership yields among lower levels of assets. Among homeowners, Black families' home value is $150,000 compared to $230,000 for white families. Black people are under-indexed in businesses, stocks, bonds, and other assets that increase their net worth. In addition, the assets of Black people hold lesser value, lessening the ability to start businesses. While increasing Black business ownership would certainly have a positive economic impact on Black households and communities, renewed fiscal support from federal, state, and local governments is needed to mitigate the racial wealth gap. Data and research shows that on average, Black people have higher unemployment rates, lower earnings, lower rates of home ownership, and pay more for credit and banking services. All factors from a history of structural racism that contribute to vast disparities of wealth creation and accumulation. There is a causal relationship between discriminatory policy and wealth accumulation, and there is a direct correlation between wealth and business development. Business outcomes reflect a racial wealth gap that is shaped by racialized policies, including those created by the federal government. As Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has observed, from Reconstruction to Jim Crow to the present day, our economy has never worked fairly for Black Americans, or really for any American of color. This makes it extremely difficult for the intergenerational transfer of wealth, while also making it extremely unlikely for Black Americans to achieve first-generation success and wealth. But even with all of the challenges facing Black Americans, we can see the amazing resiliency and fortitude to persevere among Black men and women. By forging relationships, networks, and alliances between Black leaders, professionals, and white allies who are willing to leverage their support, the systemic racism and inequity can be dismantled. But first, we must all acknowledge its existence, because we cannot change what we refuse to acknowledge.